going to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Hi there, I'm Dan Hollifield. Welcome to Last Man Standing. Sorry about munching on some nachos and cheese dip in between shows. My wife made the cheese dip. I am overjoyed. It is excellent. And now we have video evidence that I actually did eat some of it tonight. So maybe I won't be in the doghouse tomorrow. We shall see. On that note, here's Joe, here's Paul, and Dawn may or may not be with us. I do not know. Aunt Donna is under a thunderstorm, so she will not be.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about Kiri. He's got the link. Oh, excuse me. He's got the link if he wants to and has time to join in. That's fine.
Yeah. You know what? I'll text the wife. See if she wants to.
Hey,
hop
Trey
in.
would be more than welcome. Yeah, she can crochet at us if we misbehave. Hey, that's a serious threat in some circles. I mean, you give a wizard like that a magic wand and some yarn, and you might be in for a hen-knitted dragon that will take you out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
One of my daughters is.
Oh, it's been a long night.
Yes, it has.
But I now know how I'm going to redo everybody's pages for NDCP.
Oh, good.
I am going to use that tab layout because I just did Matthew Krecky, who is the profile that I set up Monday night that, not thinking about it, when I reloaded a backup of the site to see if it would fix the issue, took his profile down.
Yeah. It's no good uploading a backup of the thing that had the problem to start with.
Right.
Let me see if I can pull this up for you. There we go.
So I think this actually looks cleaner. You don't have to scroll nearly as much,
Yeah,
and everything is right there.
yeah, that does look nice.
So I think that'll actually work out pretty well. At least here's hoping. But the one thing I need to figure out still is the category pages. Because, like, the author's page, musician's page, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Because I use those same services blocks on those. So when I go to the author's page in the editor, only the very first one shows up, and not the rest of the authors.
You might be able to tab those as well. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about the program. Hey, Thesis, how you doing?
Evening Thesis.
Jesus.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that one as a tab, but I kind of have an idea of how I'm going to try and set it up. I'm going to create a test page and just kind of screw with it on the test page, and then if it works, then I'll just copy and paste the code over.
Which is how we got into this problem? No. It was an update to, what is it, WordPress that caused the problem?
I don't know if it was the WordPress update or the CoBlocks update, or if there was just some other update in the background that it just decided to go, ha, screw you. So I found a few different other block editors that have some nice features on them, and most importantly, they're free. So
that is always important.
Yeah. So the nice thing is right now, the public facing side, everybody is still there on the author's page. So I know who I need to, add back in. Minus Matthew Krecky, who, I just created his profile, but I know I need to add him on there anyway.
There was a second profile you wanted to do before the problem cropped up Monday night.
I'm going to do Ted's profile.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was going to do his profile that night too, and then when I went to the author's page to edit it to add Matthew in, that's when I found out about the issue.
And by this point, it's no longer an issue, it's a volume.
Yeah. So we shall see how this goes, but I think this is going to work out. Ooh, very nice.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward to seeing it. Sometimes I regret not doing ads here, but that would tend to require Joe Dog deleting a whole bunch of stuff to save room for me to upload new stuff, which seriously ain't bloody likely. They got like 57 different versions of good night, everybody, and only uses 3 because those are the ones that are most.
Hey, Thesis, check that you uploaded it proper, because I am not seeing it.
Nick's ad folder. That might be. Is that the?
It's the secret ad folder that Nick has.
Is that one of the Google folders?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the last one I'm seeing from Euthesis is Foxy's ad.
Well, then again, Google might not have updated the page yet, but they should have. I mean, they've got all the processing power on the planet.
Yeah. Okay, still uploading. That would be why.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mind me just jumping the gun to help Nick out and get it uploaded to his StreamYard. That'll be the nice thing when he moves. Oh God, I think he has to move over to my account next month.
Oh, you just have the one account to keep track of rather than two?
Well, so I've been paying for his StreamYard
Mm-hmm.
for the last couple years. And then Richie and I decided to split the upgraded version of StreamYard, the next tier up, so you could have 4 admins on there. So that way, it could be me, Rich, Dawn, and Nick just all under the same account and save a little bit of money.
Which is why I laugh at Joe Dog going, I can turn this show off from my bed. I'm going, mm-hmm. And I can withdraw my funding anytime. Which I won't do because that would end both shows.
Yeah.
So,
but I do need to start I need to start looking at Nick's list of various ads and stuff he hasn't currently uploaded, and start just create a brand for him and start uploading those ads into that brand.
Yeah. I would really like to redo the one that I sent Nick because the volume of the music is so quiet that while the ad's playing, you can't hear anything but my voice. You can't hear any of the background music. I mixed it too low. I can remix it and re-upload it and everything, but I have to be able to tell people that I've done it. And even if I redid it with the same file name, it might wipe out the old file, but then there might be 2, and you'd have to figure out which one's got the right volume settings.
Oh, that'd be easy enough because I have his secret ad folder sorted by last modified. So that way the newest ads are always at the top. But you were talking about food earlier. Wife and I went out to Tap House for dinner, the local bar that her and I frequent on the weekends for breakfast and periodically throughout the week for lunch and dinner. And a few months ago, they started doing chicken tenders there. Actual, they hand bread them and everything. They also let them marinate in buttermilk before they bread them. When I tell you these are the juiciest damn chicken tenders I've ever had in my life. And on Mondays, they sell them for $1 a piece.
Wow.
And these are like about yay long, about yay thick. They just take a chicken breast and slice it up about 3-4 times and let them soak, and then
Kroger here has grocery store has chicken strips. They're like 4 or 5 for $5. Depends on how much it weighs, I think. And they're hefty. Good too. They're pretty good for something you get at the grocery store already pre-cooked. They cook cook it in the deli.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are heavy. Like I order 5 chicken strips and that's it. I don't get fries, onion rings, nothing, just give me the 5 chicken strips and the
I got
they
some
have
of
a they have a dill pickle aioli dipping sauce that is phenomenal.
It
I got
sounds it.
weeks back. I couldn't eat all of them. There were like 4 or 5 of them. I ate 2, and I was so full. I couldn't. I was like, good grief. They were huge. I mean, just huge.
And your ad is uploaded now, Thesis. It just popped up on my screen. So we will save that to here. There it is.
Hello, Carrie.
Hey, Gary. And upload this for Nick. No, not an overlay. Video.
It does help if you get it in the right branch
Yeah.
of the service.
Let that upload. Then I have to go out of Nick's StreamYard, go back in my StreamYard.
And do it all over again for Behind the Code and Burning His Yarn.
Yeah, I need to just combine those 2 brands into one. That'd be the smart thing to do, at least.
Well, I mean, what are you going to call it? The Burning His Yarn or Behind the Burning His Code or Behind the Yarn? It would help if I would say it correctly, and I haven't had that much to drink today.
The burning is code. That's why I wanted to do the code on Monday night.
No, it wasn't the code you wanted to burn. It was WordPress.
Yeah, it was whoever authorized that update.
Yeah. Too bad you can't wait for, hey, this one actually works. You want to upload it?
Right.
Otherwise, I'd still be using Windows XP.
Microsoft is going to start charging to use Windows 10 subscription based. If you want support.
Yeah, if you want to continue getting updates.
It's like $67. I can't remember. It was, I don't know. I think that might be a year. It might be a month. I don't know. It was really hefty. It's like, definitely they want to get people away from Windows 10, which is not good because Windows 10 was, I thought, better than 11. I don't like 11.
Only thing I don't like about 11 is having the start button more towards the center.
You can move it to the left, but yeah. I don't like not being able to put that toolbar on the top of the screen. I prefer it at the top of the screen. And you used to be able to do that. Now you can't. And,
yeah.
But there's a lot of things. It's Windows 11 is nothing but spyware. That's all it is. It's one of the things they're moving towards. They all are Windows, Apple. In the next few years, they've been talking about doing it for years. So I imagine they'll do it soon. They're going to make everything the operating system as a service. In other words, you'll have to subscribe to the operating system to be able to use it. You won't be able to buy. unless you use Linux, and then some of the Linux distros are talking about doing the same thing. Red Hat, Fedora, Ubuntu, they might become subscription models too, which is fine. I like Debian better than all those anyway. So, and Debian, I don't think Debian will ever do that. I hope.
And Kerry, the charging for updates isn't actually a new thing. It's new to the non-commercial side of things, and I shouldn't even say non-commercial, the non-governmental side. Because Microsoft has been charging the U.S. government for Windows XP updates, because there are, as of a few years ago, were still certain systems that they could not upgrade past Windows XP due to the ancient software that runs our government.
There's some that can't go past 3.1 Windows.
Well,
there's a lot of DOS-based stuff too still in the government. Somebody was showing the floppy drives, or the floppy disk. That might have been on one of the other channels that is associated with these sites, these shows. They were showing the floppy disks that run the whole train system.
Mm-hmm.
For some train, for some railway. I don't know which railway it was, but they're still on floppy disks.
And there's certain things that, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know.
Well, yes and no. It's I think at that point, the only reason they keep it's security by obscurity.
yeah.
Nobody's trying to hack it.
It's so old. Nobody's going to waste time trying to figure out how to hack it.
But
it's so old it damn near predates the internet.
You've used Windows 3.1.
The thing is, it's all super easy to hack if you can get online. If you find it on a VPN or something, and if they're stupid enough to hook it up to the internet,
oh yeah,
a 2-year-old could hack them.
Yeah,
it's so easy to log into one of the old Windows computers. XP, so easy to log in remotely. It's so simple.
So I have 2 questions, one for Dan, one for Bladed. First one for Bladed. Would you mind, if Dan would allow, for us to play your ad real quick? If you're still in the chat there, Bladed.
I would say fucking play it whether he wants to or not.
Okay.
It's my damn show.
Well, in that case, I gotta.
He says go for it.
Okay, hold on. I gotta do it a different way because I forgot that this won't. I have to load it into a browser to get it to play the audio. So give me one moment. Luckily, I can do that. Maybe. Come on, computer. We had a lot of visitors to the Indie CD page yesterday, too. Had 7 visitors and 49 page views.
All right. Doing something right.
Okay. So I think if I present it this way. Yes, there we go.
Yes.
What happened? Let's see if I hit full. Ooh, excellent. Make sure that is full volume and play.
Welcome, friends. I'm Bladed Thesis, and this is my tea house. Come join me every other Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time as we discuss Chinese culture, history, philosophy, and of course, martial arts. You can find me at youtube.com/BLADEDTH3SIS. Pull up a chair, grab a cup of tea, or the drink of your choice, and join the discussion.
There you
All
go.
right.
Audio came through okay?
Yeah, I
Okay.
heard it.
Yep.
And it was nice not to see him grimace because he slipped on the snow while he was doing the. No. I mean, I am no expert, but I could see he felt like he slipped, and his facial expression slipped just a little bit too. Filming in the snow. Well, it was the only time he could have done it at that time, but you know, I can see why he wanted to do new ads as well. Sorry, Thesis. I'm not trying to criticize. You said yourself you took I don't know how many takes of that and you still slipped.
Well, I was thinking he should have like some martial arts stuff on, some Asian clothes. But then I realized that all the clothes he has on are probably made in China anyway.
That is true. Wife's not going to hop on. She's got cats in her lap.
I am so not touching that line.
Yeah, he almost said something.
And she's being judged by one of them.
Hobo.
Mm-hmm.
Spot swatted at me today. I don't know what he was on about, but he walked up. I was sitting here in the chair, had my hand kind of just resting on the armrest, and he reached up and went, whap!
And she's got bread on her chest.
Plan on redoing it for every season just because. Winter one was wearing a Chinese Mandarin robe. This time I had a Kung Fu uniform top too.
I couldn't tell.
So he's already ahead of you, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he had jeans and a coat on. It was too small. But my screen is too small to really see. I didn't zoom in or anything. And I'm on my laptop, my little laptop, so.
Mm. My wife tried to use her laptop today for the first time in months. She goes, "The battery's dead." And I'm going, "When did you last use it?" February. And I'm going, "That's why the battery's dead." you either use it or lose it, honey. She's so used to doing everything on her cell phone. And then she complains because the screen's so small, she can't see what she's doing. I'm going, this is why I bought you an iPad and a laptop. And if you want, I'll buy you a new desktop. Something that the dog did not cause a glass of wine to spill down on the transformer and short out.
Ooh.
Mac Minis aren't too bad. They're low power and it's a computer. I've been using a Mac Mini for almost 2 months now, or I got it in January, so almost 4 months, I guess. And it's been a good little box.
I've my other computer behind me here is a Mac Mini.
And then I got this MacBook Air, 13-inch, 13.6 or 9 or whatever. It's a nice little laptop. I'm happy with it. It does what I want to do with it. It's incidental that I'm using it for video. I could do video on the any other computer I have, but it's just a hassle to keep switching back and forth to stuff. And I decided I was going to mostly write on the laptop, and that's what I do. I'm mostly just write here, and it's the keyboard. It really impressed me. It's the best keyboard on a laptop I've ever had, so that impresses me. Other than that, it's a little underpowered. I tend to be I guess a power user. I have too many things open at one time, and I've made it chug. And I've done the same thing to the Mini, but I've also done the same thing to a computer with 64 gigs of RAM. I've got another computer with 128 gigs of RAM, and I never hit swap on that one yet. I probably could if I made an effort, but
I do believe Kiri is speaking y'all's language.
Yeah, I think the thing is with the new Apple Silicon, you can get a certain one of the distros of Linux will work, but I'm not sure which one. I think Linus Torvalds got a version of Fedora working on it, and that was a little over a year ago. I'm not sure the status on running Linux on Apple Silicon is right now. It might still be difficult to do, and I don't know if Windows is supported on it either.
Yeah, I don't know that Windows is supported on the Silicon.
I don't think it is. I know Windows is trying to do their own ARM processor, and they're selling a box now. It's a little box you can buy. It's got an ARM processor in it, and it's for Windows development on ARM. So that's where they are with that right now. I just don't think it'll work on a Mac, right? If you go this day and age, unless you go back with a much older version of Apple, if you get the newer Mac stuff or the newer Apple stuff, just use the Apple stuff. It's fine. I mean, it's BSD, it's Unix underneath. Look under the hood. Well, Darwin. It was BSD, then it was Darwin, and it's Darwin under the hood, which is Unix. So if you get in a command line, you can barely tell the difference. You're not, if you're used to Linux and you're used to doing stuff on the command line, you're fine. It's just the same. Minor differences. And to me, I've had people argue with me over it, but I think to me the GUI is, to me, it's like XFCE4. It's very similar to that. At least the way I set up XFCE4 when I was using it. So it's like no difference. But I switched to i3. If I could do i3 or Sway, I'd be much happier. But I've gotten used to the Mac way of doing things. It's not too bad. With a trackpad, you can swipe, use gestures and stuff to get between windows and switch programs, and it's pretty nifty, pretty fast. Or you can get on the keyboard and hit certain keys and fly all over the place. So
yeah,
it's decent enough. It might feel a little weird at first, and some people don't like it, but if you give it a chance, after I've had it, like I said, about since January, I guess, the Mac Mini and this laptop I've had about a month, a little over a month now, and I've gotten quite used to Mac. I had Mac before in 2015, but it's very different nowadays. But I'm glad I switched to it for what I want to do. It's fine.
Well, it's all in what you feel comfortable with, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a friend that swears by Linux, and every time I talk to him, he's wanting me to dump everything else I've got and switch over. And I go, it's an operating system, dude. It's not some miracle thing that I can just look at and have it do what I want without having to put any input in it.
Yeah.
I started off with MS-DOS. I know command line. I'm not
Same.
as fond of it. Yeah, I'm not as fond of it as I was before Windows 3.1 came out. But there's not very many things I haven't used, except for Apple products. I have not used very many of those up until I got my first iPad, which probably doesn't count because it's basically a big phone.
Which is sad. Apple really needs to change the iPad into a tablet desktop or tablet laptop. They really need to, because like my iPad, it's got the M2 silicon. It's more powerful than my Mac, the MacBook Air, and it's more powerful than the Mac Mini I have. Which is, it's crazy, but all it runs is mobile stuff, and the mobile stuff, some of it's just such a pain in the ass. It's not even funny.
Well, like I said, it's all in what you get used to. There's none of it that's any better than any other. It's just, this is what's comfortable for me, so I've learned how to use it exclusively.
Now there's some real issues with like using a keyboard. Like I have the keyboard, Magic Keyboard thing for the Mac, for the iPad, and there are some real issues when you're trying to type on that. And it's of course you could use Bluetooth for any other, to hook up any other keyboard, but you'd have the same problems. You'd have the same exact problems when you're trying to type into text. Sometimes it tries to take over, and it's just weird. It does weird stuff. But if you type on the screen keyboard, it's a little better. But then that's a pain in the ass to type on. But there are some real differences between using iOS and Mac OS. There's some major differences, and Mac OS on an iPad would make it a much better device, I think.
Well, I've used a couple of flavors of Linux. I've used OS2. I've used every flavor of Windows that was ever invented. Some of them I really hated. Basically everything in between 95 and XP.
You broke up really bad, Joe.
Oh, I said I didn't mind 98.
Yep.
Still breaking up, huh?
Yeah, kind of.
98 was okay.
I started with Commodore 64. Actually, I started with HP 2000 mainframe when I was 12 years old at University of Tennessee in Chattanooga. I was taking a class for basic programming. And then a little later, a few years later, I got a Commodore 64. And then I've had everything from 80, 88, 82, 86, 83, 86, DOS forever. Then Windows 3.1 came out. But Windows 1.0, I never used that. I used Windows. The first Windows I think I used was 3.1. OS X was pretty nice. Or OS 9. I didn't use Linux until 1999. And Linux I was able to do so much more on Linux than I could on a Windows computer. But I did other stuff. I wasn't playing games and things like that. I was doing and stuff that Windows really hobbled you unless you spent a fortune on Windows Server software. Mm-hmm. If you didn't buy Windows Server software, there was things you just couldn't do. Like I wanted to share the internet with everybody in the house. So I could do that with Linux, but I could only share it with one person with Windows. So I'd have 2 computers running Windows and share, or I could have a house full of computers and share all of them, all the internet with all of them with Linux. And so that was some of the bonuses for me using it. Then I kept using it. And every time I try Windows, it's okay. It just, I feel like I can't do certain things on Windows that I can do on Linux. So, but now I'm all Mac at this point. I mean, I still have my Linux machines, but I can still do pretty much anything on the Mac computers because it's still Unix underneath. So I can do pretty much the same stuff that I do anyway. And now I have fancy routers and access points and stuff for sharing internet connections.
I don't know how many times my wife has called from the living room going, I have no internet. I'm going, I do. And we're on the same router. Have you tried turning the Roku TV off and then on again?
Last year, at the end of the year, I think it was November, I bought, I think it was November. I switched internet providers and I want to take advantage of the full capabilities of the speed I was paying for, or I am paying for. And so I bought a really fancy, expensive, stupid router, but I love it. It's great. I get the full speed of the internet that I purchased, and it has a really fast Wi-Fi too. So, but next year I'll have to upgrade. I think I'll have to probably next year. It depends on if I get new computers. If I get new computers, I'll definitely have to upgrade the router because Wi-Fi 7's going to be everywhere at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It's Wi-Fi 6E. Wi-Fi 7 is going to hit, and we're talking like, I think 5 or 10 gigahertz over the air.
Yeah. I've upgraded the Wi-Fi router several times. The bottleneck is what my ISP demands I use for their router. And I've actually had them come out here and replace what they thought was their equipment with something I'd actually paid good money for. And they cut the power cord so that I could never use it again.
Jeez.
And put in their own proprietary equipment, which I had to pay rent on every month with the phone bill. And I'm going, you bastard, I actually owned that. You didn't have the right to cut up the power cord. Of course, that doesn't mean that I couldn't rewire it or buy a new wall wart that I could. Yeah. But it was maybe one step up from dial-up at that time. And their proprietary router had gotten struck by lightning. So I went out and bought my own so I could get back online in a hurry without having to inform them. Well, I paid for that, but it's the difference between 14.4 and DSL, I do believe. So quite a big jump.
I've got fiber. I'm doing 2.5 gigabits up and down. The router they gave me, it couldn't. The router wouldn't do 2.5. It rate limited to 100, and that really pissed me off. And I tried to talk to him, And they tried to send out new equipment, but they kept sending me the same stupid thing.
They gave you a 2.5 gig service and then went, here, have a router that only supports 100 meg.
Well, 1 gig. I think it was, and then only like 100 over Wi-Fi. But it was 1 gig on the Ethernet. And I'm like, this isn't working for me. I'm paying for 2.5. And they tried. They have a device. They actually have a device. If you get the 5 gig service, which is pretty expensive, they'll send you the better device. But I thought I had one guy talked in to sending me the right thing or the thing I wanted, and of course he didn't. I wound up with a bunch of those little Amazon Eero things.
That's what I have.
The Eero Wi-Fi. I've got to send them back. I hadn't even sent them back. They never charged me for them or nothing. They just kept hitting a button or whatever somebody was doing, and I kept getting one after another in the mail, like for a week. I've got at least 5 of them. I should send them back, but I mean, I don't know. I could sell them even probably, but
I was say the Eero that Frontier sent me, or didn't send me, but installed when they brought it out. I mean, I only got a 1 gig network card in my desktop anyway, so I mean that's gonna be my max speed no matter what. But even on Wi-Fi, I'm still hitting, 700-800 down on my phone.
That's what I have. Frontier. That's what I have is Frontier.
Yeah.
I've got 2.5. I had to buy a 2.5 gig dongle for the Mac Mini because it only has 1 gig. And that was irritating me. But my other computers, they had like 5 and 10 gig network cards. And I was really expecting to get my 2.5. And when I didn't, of course, I threw a fit. I bought my own. I bought a T-Link, a TP-Link. It looks like a alien spaceship. It's got antennas, huge antennas sticking up out of it, and it's pretty cool. But it's basically already obsolete right after I bought it. But I mean, it does what I need right now, so I'm not worried about. I don't think I need 5. I was really considering getting the 5 gig, and I got the 2.5 because if I kept the 2.5 for 90 days, they sent me like a $200 gift thing or something.
Yep.
But they didn't have the same deal if you got the 5 gig.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'll keep it until I get that money, and then I'll get the 5. I don't know. I decided to keep the 2.5. It's good enough. It's fast.
Yeah.
Most of the time, my bottleneck is not here with me. It's like when I'm contacting other websites and stuff. They don't go that fast, so I'm waiting for them.
Yeah. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand is, you can have the world's fastest internet. You're still only going to download a file from a server as quickly as it can process.
Yeah, you can only go at their top speed.
Yeah.
If you go to like Fedora or Ubuntu or anywhere and download an ISO at 2.5 gigs, bam, you have it. Like, how the hell? Because those are like 1 or 2 gig files, and that's almost instantaneous. I'm like, holy crap!
Be right back.
Okay.
They're so fast. Most of the time when I'm downloading stuff, or anytime I BitTorrent anything, it is so fast it's just ridiculous. A lot of times I can't BitTorrent. Nothing will connect to me because I guess I'm too fast or something.
Nope.
So I only get a connection. So,
Yeah.
but when I do get a cedar or something, it's just like whoosh, I've got it, done, gone. I like it. I can't wait till everything's just like super fast, instantaneous, everything.
Yeah.
But
Oh. This is
I was
taking
always
me-
amazed. I was always amazed, really, when I was a kid, and I still am. And you would be if you think about it. You start thinking about how TVs work, old TVs, and you had 60 frame or 60 hertz. You're getting this data at 60 hertz. It's coming in, and you can fill up a whole screen and play audio and watch. You get like data, terabytes of data
Mhm.
in that signal. But you can't do that. It's all different for a computer. None of it works that way with a computer.
Yeah.
And I was always thought, if you could transfer that data the same way as you could with old TV signals, how fast would everything actually be? But with digital, it's so different the way it has to be processed with digital stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all don't have ops, so you couldn't have flashed up. Curious comment. Been downloading Linux distros from Georgia Tech because the repo servers are the closest physical location to my house.
Yeah.
Downloads and then it is Georgia Tech. They have insanely good equipment.
I always pick the closest to whatever region I'm in. I pick whatever the closest.
Yeah, usually for me it's something in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing any closer than that. I mean, Savannah's further away. There might be something in North Carolina that's marginally closer, but it doesn't show up on lists.
Mhm.
So,
But yeah, if I'm downloading Linux, I'll either most of the time the distros have their own servers. Sometimes they do go through schools, and I'll just find the closest to me. That's not always the fastest, but like if you're installing Debian and you use their Debian's net install, it will find the fastest. It will find the fastest and use that. So
I used to have to download stuff from England, not programs, but recordings. And it surprised me as to how quickly that could go or how slowly that could go, depending on the time of day and how young the particular recording was. If it was a little bit older, it would go faster because there weren't that many people trying to get it all at once. But, I wound up with a computer going dead on me, and for 2 years I was reduced to using a laptop because I couldn't afford to buy another desktop. By the time I had another desktop, no way I could get to my friends in England anymore because it's like that just disappeared. They got shut down, or they decided to shut down, or I don't know what. I do not have the slightest idea.
A lot of sites disappeared. A lot of sites disappeared at one point, especially if they were BitTorrent sites. But with BitTorrents, you want more people. The more people you have, the better.
The better, yeah, except for the inevitable viruses or whatever.
Well,
yeah.
I never worried.
I mean,
they were always targeting Windows stuff, so I'm like, okay.
you get what you pay for. You want something free, and all of a sudden, hey, now you got to pay somebody to fix your box.
Yeah, luckily I did my own fixing. I never got viruses either. My wife did a lot. I was always fixing her computer. Like, what are you downloading?
I got really good at going through and going, okay, scan this. Oh, that's there. I remember that. Delete it. Now repair the damage. I was trying to clean up after my much younger self. So, yeah.
Like on Windows, I only use the Windows Defender. I don't use any other virus software or anything.
I have deleted AVG off of 2 of my computers now, and I'm about to delete it off of my laptop because I am so sincerely tired of the nagware. Your computer has 4 insoluble problems that we can't fix unless you give us $500 right now.
Yeah, that's malware. That's not even real.
Well, it's AVG. They do it every month. They've done it every month for as long as I've used them. I've used McAfee back in the past.
McAfee is terrible. McAfee is really slow. McAfee and Norton will slow your computer down so bad. It's just terrible.
Well,
AVG
I had actually gone so far as to buy physical discs for the newest upgrade for McAfee, installed it, and my computer would not let me get on the internet because McAfee said, no, that's dangerous. You can't do that. So I uninstalled it. I called them. I said, I want my money back. Where do I mail the discs? She says, keep them. You might want to use it again. I go, not bloody likely. I've still got the discs, but
So
never again, not on any system I own.
when I was in high school, I was assistant to the technology director for about an hour a day. I'd go in, instead of doing a study hall, I did, I was listed as teacher's aide, but
so you did their homework,
right? So I went through and I'd help out with different tech issues and stuff, and we had ordered the new version of Office, which back then was Office 2003. And we had also started doing a web design class at the high school using Microsoft Front Page.
I'm so sorry you went through that.
I didn't mind Front Page.
Oh, terrible.
But I also, at that time, also knew how to actually code, HTML and JavaScript and all that myself. But so we ordered Front Page through because I think we dealt with Dell for everything software and computer related. So we order Front Page, we get the discs in, and it's Office Small Business Edition, 2003. So we call Dell back again. They're like, hey, you sent us the wrong disc. Oh, no, that's the right disc. It's on there. No, it's not. I work for Staples. I sell this software. Front Page isn't included in any version of Office. Oh, it's got to be a bad disc. We'll send you another one. All right.
When did they start charging for Front Page? Front Page was free.
Front Page back then was $100.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never paid for it.
When I first ran into Office, it was free too, but that didn't last long.
Yep.
About 5 years, maybe.
So they went through. They sent us another disc. I get it. I look at it. It's Office Small Business Edition. We call them back again. Oh, it's got to be a bad disc. We'll send you another one. It's not a bad disc. You're sending me the wrong fucking disc. So now the third one. Now, mind you, we now have 3 copies of Office Small Business Edition 2003 with unlimited licensing.
Nice.
So every computer in the school had Office at that point. We call back a fourth time, finally get a hold of our normal rep who was on vacation the couple weeks prior. And I said, look, we ordered front page. They keep sending us Office. She goes, well, front page isn't on the Office disc.
Bingo!
Thank you. She's like, don't worry about it. I'll send you out 2 discs for the trouble so you'll have 10 licenses. Okay. We only paid for 5, but sure, we'll take 10. So she sent out the discs. We got the right discs. And then, every computer in this, because we asked her, we were like, well, do you want us to send back these other Office discs? And she goes, that's their screw up. Go ahead and use them.
I still can't get over that they started charging for front page. I would sue.
Well, I know later on front page was free, but back then, even Staples had it for $100. But
Delphi costs like $100, but I never saw. I guess I just never shopped for it. But
yeah, so we went through. We upgraded every computer throughout the school with Office. All the teachers ended up with Office on their computers at home if they wanted it. I had it on my computer at home.
Hey,
I used OpenOffice. I liked OpenOffice better, especially after it's got those stupid ribbons, or Word got those stupid ribbon things.
Yeah,
I started off using Word and Excel at work once they finally bought replacements for Lotus 123. And I got used to them. I actually liked them. Matter of fact, there were things I could have done in 123 that I had to learn a different way to do in Excel. But once I got used to it, it's great. So 10 years later, I got an offer because I had a job that required an email through the company that anybody with a company email can get a free, well, not free, but a discounted copy of Microsoft Office for what amounted to, I think, $16.38. And I used that for years until finally, and basically, this was from a home computer. All I had to do was sign in with my work email, give me the download, copy it to my personal email at home, install. I had all of Office at that time, and I was only using 2 bits of it, but the other stuff is okay. And then finally, about a year and a half ago, I started trying to pull up my Excel files and my Word files, and it goes, sorry, we can't open that. There's something wrong with this file. And I go, no, there's nothing wrong with that file. So I had to get a subscription to 365. And all of a sudden, there were no problems with those files anymore. They just wanted to get paid.
You used OpenOffice or LibreOffice.
I do use OpenOffice.
Or LibreOffice at this point.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I was using OpenOffice when it was still Apache. I mean, yeah, it's great. It's in some cases even more versatile than the equivalent of my Microsoft. It is still free, and it is open source and keeps being continually developed. There are 1 or 2 quirks between the two, and they're not really big quirks. I mean, it's not like a deal breaker. If I had to delete everything in 365 right now, I could switch to Open Office in a heartbeat, no problem. All I would have to do is save each of my um, not each and every file, but my template files basically, because there's some stuff I have to rewrite every year because it is date centric. Um, don't want to carry it 2021 into 2022 or try and use 2022 and 2023 because that would totally mess up my bank account basically. Um,
My
'Cause I've
first
got
word processor, I use the first real word processor. I think was when I was in the Army, and I used WordPerfect, and I got
mhm.
really used to using that. I use it all the time. Then I used Microsoft Word for a long time. When they switched to when they started doing the ribbon thing and made it, I guess that's when they made Office 365. I don't know. It was a mess. I didn't like it anymore. Excel was easy, but so was every other spreadsheet I've ever used.
Uh-huh. I've
Um,
even modified some of the stuff to run on um, whatever spreadsheet thing that comes with an iPad. I think it's called Numbers. No,
Yep.
yeah,
I'll be right
it's
back.
Yeah, the ribbon you're talking about, I remember correctly, started either with Office 2007 or 2010. I don't remember right offhand.
2010 sounds right.
I know I was still working at Staples when it happened.
I feel ashamed to admit the first word processor I was using was a cartridge that plugged into my TRS-80, and I actually had a dual bay 5 1/4 floppy inch drive that would plug into that same cartridge bay on the TRS-80, and that's where I first learned about OS2 and WordPerfect and a few other things that I had been given these floppy disks by folks who go, "Hey, my computer's too old to run this anymore." And I'm going, "Mine's too old to run anything else." Uh,
So my first computer was a Packard Bell that it was a Packard Bell with it was a 120 megahertz processor. Can't remember how much RAM was in it, and it had a 900 megabyte hard drive. And when I decided to upgrade it from Windows 95 to 98, I had to compress the hard drive
oh,
so that it had more room to accept 98. Compressed it up to about a 2 gig drive, and then as time went on, I'd be sitting there, I'd be typing up a report for school, and I'd look up at the screen, and it'd be like 3 paragraphs behind me.
uh-huh.
So at first I was just like, okay, it froze up. I'd shut it down, restart it, and finally it did. The one day it pissed me off, and I just smacked the side of the thing, and all of a sudden you hear as the hard disk spins back up, and all the words appear on the screen. I'm like, son of a bitch! I could have been smacking this thing the whole time.
It's 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 Earth technology. You got to hit it with a hammer every once and again to make it work. You got to show it you mean business.
First time I
Pieces
thought,
of parents bought a HP printer a few years ago, signed up for an ink subscription. That was their first mistake.
yeah,
The HP printers, that's fine. Ink subscription, no. Last year they had a problem with their payment. The card got declined. Printer stopped printing, saying low ink. Fix the issue with the card, and suddenly the printer works fine. HP was literally holding the printer hostage until they got their money. This is why you never sign up for refill ink
There's a-
cartridges. Yeah,
There is a lawsuit. There's a lawsuit against HP right now for this bullshit that they've been pulling with the printers.
yeah. My little brother
Epson's doing it too.
will use a printer. It doesn't matter what brand it is. He will use a printer until the cartridges run out of ink, and then he'll go buy another one because it's cheaper for him to buy a whole new printer than it is to buy ink cartridges.
Well, the last printer I bought. I haven't changed the cartridge yet. I got a laser printer. It's the second laser printer I've ever had, but it was cheap. It was like a really good price. When I do replace the toner, it's going to cost me $50 or $60, but that'll last me a year or two because I don't print that much.
Yeah, we got about the same life out of a toner cartridge on laser printers at the factory, and they were being used a couple of hundred times a day. So this one printer would be used 200 times a day in a 24-hour period. The office had their own printers. This was just a basic printer that technicians were using.
If you don't have to print color, a laser printer is by far the best way to go. By far. They do have color laser, but it gets pretty expensive to print color images with a color laser.
Yeah.
Ink is just so stupid. I hate that ink. There's so little bit. There's not very much ink in those cartridges. And
no, there's not.
For a while, you could refill them yourself, or you could go to a store. There were a couple stores that were like cartridge exchange places. You could, and for a while, even HP and Epson supported those stores where you could exchange cartridges. But then they did something with the firmware in the printers where they wouldn't recognize a
refilled cartridge.
A refill cartridge, yeah, or any third-party cartridges, and that just I don't know. I didn't own a printer for a long time because I was just unless I found one cheap. For a while there, you could not find cheap printers. I remember before dot matrix printers went away, I could buy dot matrix printers all day for $20. Now, if I want a dot matrix printer, and I do, there's an Epson dot matrix 24-pin printer on Amazon. It's over $300, which is just insane. I'm like, I want it, but I can't bring myself to pay that much for a dot matrix printer. But
it sounds like the first time
run forever. They run forever.
Like the first time I ever bought a flatbed scanner. It was like $200, and I had to put a special card in the computer so it could use it. Now they come free with a printer for less than the price of a color ink cartridge.
For a long time, they were selling magazines, and online stores were selling flatbed scanners for like $10 or $15. And now, if you buy a flatbed scanner by itself, it's going to cost you over $100.
Again,
you want just a flatbed scanner. It's like crazy, but yeah, because I wanted a flatbed scanner at one point. The last inkjet printer, I bought the inkjet printer because I needed a scanner. And it was cheaper. It was cheaper than buying a scanner all by itself. And that was like 20. I think that was in 2022 or 21. But yeah, that was the last time I bought ink. Ink.
I've got two spares here. One belonged to my wife's oldest son, and the other one, it must be on a shelf if we hadn't already recycled it. It was one of those Epson that required like 5,000 bottles of ink. Every time one of them ran out, you had to replace all of them. And I go, this is bullshit. But they probably still would be able to be hooked up and used as a scanner. I really need to go ahead and get my wife a cheap ass printer that will hook up to her laptop where she can print color pictures until the ink cartridges run out, and we can go down to the drugstore and buy new ink cartridges for cheaper than we can go to a department store.
Well, if she's just wanting to print color pictures, like photos and stuff,
Yeah,
it's cheaper just to use CVS or Walgreens or whatever.
we've
or
done that.
Walmart.
We've done that.
Or Walmart. Don't mess with the printer. It's only like a couple 10 or 15 cents for
You
3x6.
you take an SD card or a CD in, you plug it in, you go print.
You can do it online. You don't even have to. You do it online. You go pick it up. But yeah, it's like if I wanted to print stuff in color, I would probably, if I was going to be doing it a lot, that I didn't want to have to like deal with going to the store to pick up prints, I would probably get a laser printer, color laser printer. Maybe. It depends. If I was going to print posters or something, they have special printers for that, and they're freaking expensive.
Yeah.
They're very expensive. Well, they're wide format, like really wide format printers.
I know. I've gone to a blueprint place and had artwork, 2 by 3 feet, scanned and then printed for me. Unfortunately, that color printers had not been invented in that period of time, but I've still got some of the black and white ones, the prints. But I know exactly where to go, and believe me, they are hungry for business, because some of the places like Kinko's and whatnot have been driving their business away, so that they are wanting customers.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's another thing. Kinko's, the office stores, Office Depot, Office Max, Staples.
Yeah,
they have color printers there. You can send your stuff to have it color printed.
I am probably going to have to go to one of those 3. Don't know which. I probably have got discount coupons for Office Depot or Office Max, because same thing. And there are some poster size prints I want to get done. Unfortunately,
I don't know how
there are a couple of pieces of that particular poster that are there is no official cover for this book yet. It hasn't been printed. This is my mock-up of the possible cover that I suggested to the publisher. So I can do that, but it'd be make 2 copies just in case one gets damaged going to the convention, and that would be all I'd be able to do until I actually have an idea as to what cover the publisher has decided on for my next 2 books. Because I turned in these mock-ups that said, this is basically what I want. This is a public domain free download photo for this one. This one I did. I own all the rights to it. You don't have to pay a dime for it if you want to use it. I have no idea. I'm really happy with my publisher, except for things got really slow during the plague, and they're still trying to catch up. So those 2 books have yet to hit the market, but when they do, great. After that, unless I get treated really well, and believe me, I have been treated really well up to this time. If it weren't for the plague, those books would be out. It's not my publisher's fault. I mean, they lost family members, they lost close friends. Anybody can be excused for falling behind schedule. I mean, and it's not one of those things where uh, anybody's got the right to say, "Hey, you've been holding on to this for a while. I'm going to take it back and take it to Lulu." And I'm going, with Lulu, I'd have to do all the marketing, have to hire my own editors and everything else. With my publisher, I get an editor provided to me that's going to stick with me the entire way. And if there's a cover that matches up with what I suggested, that's great. Here's the stuff I did. They probably will choose to use that for that particular one. There's I've got an unfinished fantasy novel that if if I ever get over the hurdle of where it stalled out on me and get to finish it, I'm going to do an oil painting of what I want the cover to be. So they won't have to pay a damn thing. It'll just be, here, this is what I want. Can you do something with this? And that'll be it for that. And anything else? I admire Carl and Donna and Michaela and everybody else is going through Lulu and doing the self-publishing thing. That's absolutely great. Um, I I can't really in my retirement years afford to lay out a bunch of money for an editor, but I probably could if I needed to. Um, I've got a lot of loyalty to my present publisher because they gave me a break when nobody else would, and uh, yes, I'm feeling beholden to them, and yes, they done right by me every step of the way on both of the books of mine that they put out, um, and believe me, they want more. They I should be typing right now instead of talking, but here I am.
Well,
Uh,
what I have a question. What would an editor? What does an editor do for you exactly? I am not. I don't have that experience yet.
With a good one, they not only catch all the typos that you miss when you're proofreading, all the words that are spelled correctly, but it's still the wrong damn words.
Mm-hmm.
And they are able to say, this paragraph doesn't mesh well with the rest of this chapter. You might want to look into adding something here or taking this a little bit out and then working around the absence of it. It's kind of like a combination of having a really really good proofreader and a continuity editor at the same time. And the publisher pays them. I don't have to.
Right.
Uh, it's one of those things. Yeah, and then um, if you've got no particular cover in mind, you've got no idea what it's supposed to look like, they will go out and see what they can find, whether it's something that is like Michaela does. She buys images from places she can afford and uh, gets the rights to use them. Carl stitches them together, however, and then kind of works his voodoo that he does so well, and make them make even more sense relating to the story. So the cover actually represents the content. And it's not like the 60s when you get this uh, abstract blob of color and a title and your byline, and that's it. It doesn't represent the story. Or you get the big publishers who go, "Hey, we've got this piece of artwork by this artist that we've got on call, and it doesn't have a damn thing to do with your story, but we like it and we've already paid him, so we're going to use it on your book anyway." It has nothing to do with what you wrote, but everything to do with, hey, we've already paid for it. We're going to use it.
Right.
Um,
Well, I think continuity would be a good thing to have a human eye look at. Grammarly works pretty well. It catches those. A lot of times it'll catch those spelled right, misspelled words.
mhm.
But another thing I like about Grammarly is I can override it if I do use it. I don't use it all the time, but if I am using it, I can override its suggestions because
I have used.
stupid.
I don't remember if it was Grammarly, if it was something that's a competitor with that, but sometimes I write in dialect, and it wants me to use the Queen's English.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm going, no, rednecks don't talk that way. I'm sorry.
I think you can tell it that I think Grammarly you can, and some others you can. You can tell it to ignore stuff between quotes. So if you have a quoted text, it'll go, okay, I'm not fucking with that anyway.
Uh-huh.
But Grammarly has a new thing. I haven't tried it yet because it requires a subscription, and I'm very much a free tier fan of everything. I wish I could just spend all my money everywhere, but then I'd have to live outside under a tree or something. But Grammarly, I think that Grammarly does have like now with their paid tier some AI stuff that'll give suggestions. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, there's another thing. There's a friend of mine that pretty much had to give up their writing career because of severe arthritis. And people keep suggesting these speech to text programs. Trouble is, she'd have to teach it her accent and the accent of every character she writes, whether they be a British Lord of the Realm or some dude from Chicago who's a wannabe gangster in the 1920s. So all of that has to be programmed in so that it actually doesn't involve a great huge ton of post editing.
For now, I think in another year or two that it'll be smart enough to pick up that. Right now, I hate trying to do speech to text. It never. If Alexa can't understand me and Siri can't understand me, nothing else is going to understand me either. Google does a really good job, though. Google's probably does the best job out of all of them. But it's still, it can be frustrating, and I don't use it because I get gibberish. I get gibberish often, and
the old ones often deliver either stuff that has to be highly re-edited to get the individual character voices back in, or it just goes, I don't know what you're saying. You'll have to update my dictionary with this particular pronunciation.
Back in the 90s, Dragon Speak was like the premier piece of software that supposedly could you could use for dictation and stuff. And I had a chance to try it, and it was I get just as much gibberish as anything else. So I never purchased it because I'm like, this is not going to work. It's not ready. But some of the things I'm seeing AI do now, it's like, well, language models do now. It's just incredible. And
Yeah, that's one of the few uses of AI that I would probably condone is speech to text in a very comprehensive manner where you can sit there with the microphone and go through all the character voices that run through your head and the speech patterns come out correctly. Somebody that speaks in Marvel Comics Shakespeare talking to somebody that speaks in um, uh, Philip Marlowe noir can be talking to each other at the same time and everything comes out right.
Mm.
That would be great. That would be great. Um, now, the guy that used to do the covers for Aphelion wanted to use AI to do the covers. He just wanted to do prompts and have the AI do the actual covers.
Mm.
And I said, I can't do that. It's too contentious at the moment. There has been no consensus as to whether or not this is a useful thing or a bad thing. And I'm not taking the chance of cancel culture ruining 28 years of my having Aphelion online.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, well, I'm going to take my toys and go home. And I said, fine, I'll do the covers myself from now on. Turns out I spend about 1 day a month doing a cover.
Mm. Did we totally lose Paul, or did he just turn off his camera?
He's totally out of the room. So he might pop back in, might not. I don't know what happened. Could be the
I know
storm
he
got him.
digitized a couple times, but
Yeah. It's just it's too new. There's no consensus on it. That too many people object to it. Here comes fall again, and
I
yeah,
lost Wi-Fi for some reason on my laptop. It just Wi-Fi stopped working.
what?
these things they happen. So I decided I couldn't take the chance, and thankfully he took it with grace, and he's doing his own artwork and writing stories again, which he did not have time to do when he's doing all this other stuff for us. And I kind of count that as a win. He's being able to be creative again with ice carving and carving on using like a Dremel to carve in stonework and stuff like that. Write his own fiction again. And I'm going, we were holding you back. You know, you're flying now. I'm glad to see it. And basically, the covers I'm doing are a little bit more simplistic than what he was doing, but no one has complained yet. So, I can do this. I've been doing computer graphics since Paint was the only damn thing you could do computer graphics in. I've used one of my favorite programs was called Micrographics, which was phenomenal. I mean, if you wanted to draw a mask around something, you could take all day to draw a mask around a 2-inch square or something, but you could blow it up to where it was big enough to where you could get right on down to the exact pixels of the original image that you wanted to mask around. Corel bought them. It's now supposedly a part of Corel Draw, but it doesn't work as well. And I can't get any computer to recognize the program from the floppy disks that I originally installed it with back in the day, because I've still got every damn floppy disk I ever got.
What version of Windows were you using?
At that time, 3.11. Emulators don't work.
You might be able to get Wine to work though on Linux. Use Wine, because Wine is not an emulator. I mean, literally, Wine is not an emulator.
Okay.
It might run something that old. Might. I'm not going to promise you.
Oh,
but it is possible.
It really it's not that it's not that much of an issue anymore, because I have found things that I can use between GIMP and what's this
I
one
love
here?
GIMP. I've used GIMP for years. And then this background is, I used Procreate to do that on the iPad. Procreate's really nice.
Krita and GIMP.
Krita is nice, yeah.
And actually,
I'm terrible at Krita,
good
though.
old-fashioned Paint. Hell, I put posters together using Excel, and then done a screenshot of what it was and copied it into the Paint, saved it as a PNG file, and it is beautiful. If you're used to using a multitude of tools to accomplish one task, there's nothing wrong with what you got out there that you can lay your hands on. I mean,
yep, pretty much.
Most of the videos and ads that I've been doing, I wind up using Windows Movie Maker, even though I've got some insanely expensive, good video editing software. It just doesn't do what I want it to do as quickly as I want to do it.
There's some free open source stuff that's supposed to be pretty good. I don't do video editing, so that's sort of out of my wheelhouse, but
it's fairly simple.
Oh, yeah.
I think my biggest problem is that the expensive video editors are not fond of, say you've got a voice track and you want to add music underneath it. They don't like that very much. They'll let you do it, but the mixing is very finicky. You either come out with the voices too quiet or the music too loud.
Mix in Audacity and then put that into your.
Oh, I've got Audacity too. Believe me, whenever I do
Audacity is the way.
A voice only recording, Audacity is the way to go. I can pull it up on screen. Doesn't matter how old or how new the computer is, it still works. I can see exactly where each pause for breath was, or each and aw, and wherever every pause is. Chop that out entirely, goes on seamlessly. You can just barely tell that I've chopped something out.
Last year, somebody bought Audacity or the open source, whoever had it, sold it to, I can't remember what company, but it's sort of proprietary now. They promise they'll keep giving it away.
Hey, well, as long as the versions I've got don't go, you can't use this because you haven't had the update yet. Yeah.
Well, then we know a guy who wrote a book on Audacity too. So
yes,
Audacity is really nice. I like playing around with it. It's fun.
Yeah. So was I back in the day. But I also did GarageBand stuff, and no, I don't mean the program. I mean, I actually was in garage bands,
Mhm.
and I've got reel-to-reel tape recordings of us jamming to prove it. Audio Masked Audacity. I've never
Never
used
heard of it.
Audio Mask, so I can't.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Um,
Is that a Windows thing?
I don't have the faintest idea.
That's why I'm
I think
asking.
so.
There was a Windows XP version of. I've got to pull everybody down so I can see the. I don't have it installed on this computer. That's why. Okay, well that's fine. That's fine.
Audio Mass is web based.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I just found their site. Audio Mass is a free, open source, web based audio and waveform editor. It runs entirely in the browser with no backend and no plugins required.
In a couple of garage bands. As a musician, you were an excellent lyricist. Um, let's just say, even though technically I could brag about being able to play about 17 different instruments, the only one I was ever any real good at was the bass guitar, which has not slowed me down using the Music Maker program to compose stuff that I'm not actually playing on. Sometimes I would love to hook up one of my MIDI keyboards and go in there and fiddle around and make a few additional wave files that are not part of their database. That would give me a whole lot more flexibility. But those MIDI keyboards are almost, how long ago was the 90s? 30 years ago. So I don't even know if I can find the wall warts to make them work anymore. I'm glad I took the batteries out, but I don't know if I could find wall warts to power them up anymore.
Well, I know
Probably
we only got about 15 minutes left in the show, but I am actually going to take off because I'm starting to fade. But
Thanks
great
for
to chat with
stopping
you
by,
all as
Joe.
always. And I will see you guys again Saturday night, most likely.
All right.
all right, and with any luck, maybe tomorrow night too.
Yes, I will most likely be in the green room.
Oh, I haven't tried that yet.
Dealing with my website, I'm probably going to be drinking heavily tomorrow. So,
Yep, sounds like a green room night to me. You can cuss all you want. It's not recorded, so nobody will ever know except us. And Dawn and Donna will be writing down hashtags right and left.
Is that just an audio chat on Discord?
It's a video. It's a video chat, but it's by mutual consent. No one records it.
Yep.
So,
and you don't have to turn your camera on because there's a few people that pop in that don't.
Yeah, there are several people that pop in and they just got an avatar or a still photograph or whatever, and that's perfectly fine. Nobody cares. Your privacy is your own, which is the main reason why we got this mutual agreement never to record, even though I know it would be really easy to actually record every second that ever happened in a green room.
Yeah,
I am more principled than that.
Yeah, but some of us don't even want a recording of the green room, even when we are in there and not really participating. Plausible deniability is a thing.
Plow the town deniability. That's what you're talking about.
Exactly. And luckily, we're far enough into April now. I should not have to worry about that.
One would hope, yes, but weather is one of the most fickle goddesses ever.
I've been called when I worked for INDOT. I had been called out at the end of April to plow snow.
I have actually been called into work because with a light dusting of snow on the ground, everyone called in because, hey, it's a snow day. We don't have to go. And my supervisor's going, if you don't come in, nobody else is going to be here. I'm going to have to write you up. You didn't write up the people that were faking not coming in. I'm on vacation, dude. I'm in Atlanta. I can't drive 90 miles to Athens so I can come to work. I'm at a convention. It's a blizzard. Oh.
I'll see you guys later.
All right.
Bye,
Bye
Joe.
bye. Let's see. I don't remember whether I posted that. Recorded all of his guitar parts and audio mask. Didn't have any issues with my amp plugins. Audacity didn't like the plugins for some reason. Yeah, I could see that. Sometimes these things work out that way. Max is someone challenged him years ago to write the most offensive song possible. I'm sorry, Mick Jagger has already done that. And he got paid to get out of a record contract because of the lyrics for that song. Kiri is currently lurking, got a headache all of a sudden. Why? Joe Dog's not here. And let's see. Think I succeeded. That was in 87. And my lyrics were 20 times as offensive now. Yeah, there's no use provoking the Torch and Pitchfork Brigade. She was 13. Oh, I don't even want to know, dude. I don't even want to know. It's too close to the end of the show. Bring it to the green room.
Well, Sublime, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Sublime
you.
the wrong way. Sublime the wrong way. She was only 12 years old in that song.
Sorry. I'm not even going to try and dissect that typo. There was nothing
Oh,
direct.
I see my camera. Why did my camera get turned off? Weird.
I don't know. It's your computer.
Oh, that's so strange. And there's my arm just freeze framed. Bizarre. Okay, that's really goofy.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're within.
You're at the
2
last
minutes.
stretch, I know.
Yeah, we're in 2 minutes of the end of the show. So, thank you for being here. Thank Joe Botman for being here. Thank Joe Dog for trying to disrupt us. Mac, Thesis.
Oh, man.
Now I've got to go back to the comments so I can remember everybody's name. Kiri, sorry. It's been a long night and I haven't had enough to drink. Believe me, I have not had enough to drink. Thank Uncle Carl for watching this tomorrow. Thank Aunt Donna for putting up with Uncle Carl for all these years. Frankly, Gary Puckett was worth. Let's not go into limericks, okay? All right. 30 seconds, folks. I'm going to go ahead and call it now. Thank you very much, everybody, whether you were in the chat or on the live. I value each and every one of you, and we couldn't do this without you, believe me. Not even Stupid O'Clock, not the Last Man Standing. it just wouldn't be possible without the people who follow us and enjoy the insanity that is us. So I'm just going to go ahead.
It's working.
There you go. You're back.
I
And you
don't know
don't
what
look like
happened.
you're on a cell phone. Oh,
It said camera lost connection with the browser, and well, now it's back. So
good night and see you Saturday. Yes, indeed. Um, God willing, and the creek don't rise too high. And believe me, if the creek rises high enough to where I can't do a show on Saturday, y'all better be building arcs.
yeah,
Cause
same here.
it's getting deep.
I'm 635 feet above sea level, so if I'm underwater, you're all gone.
Well, I'm about 150 feet above the nearest creek bed. So, and I don't know how far sea level is. I'm a long ways inland. So,
Yeah.
um, I'll look that up sometime just so I know. Then again, how do I know why should I care?
Well, just
Was
look up your sea level where you are. That's what I did. I'm at one of the highest points in Huntington, West Virginia.
oh, you're way above sea level, West Virginia. Um, hell, if you
Well,
were on the
no,
underside of a hill, you'd still be above sea level.
well, yeah, but the Ohio River is just down the hill from me. And this city did flood once, but not up here, of course. But I've got elevation.
Mm-hmm. You can see my house from up there.
Yeah, pretty
No,
much. If the trees
I've
were
been
in the way, I could see everybody's house.
I've been on a motorcycle trip through West Virginia once. Those roads are fantastic to ride a bike on. Just don't go fast, because you never know how sharp the next curve is going to be.
Yeah. I haven't been too many places east of here, so I can't speak for that. But like the interstates, they've redone a lot of the interstate stuff. So
Oh,
I
we
don't
were on
think
back
there's.
roads.
Oh yeah, there's some back roads. You're gonna have some. One thing about West Virginia people, or at least here in Huntington, they do not know what that line, that solid yellow line, means in the middle of the road. They don't know what it means. So while you're going like up and down the hills and around the curves, you got to watch constantly because whoever's coming towards you, they want your lane too.
They're trying to cut the curve out of the curve and just do the straightest line they can.
Pretty
And if
much,
that
yeah.
means they're on your side of the yellow line, look out. Hope you got good brakes. I know we didn't have that problem, but there was a guy on a Harley. There was a guy on a Gold Wing. There was a guy on an air cooled Honda, and I had a Honda with a water cooled. And me and the guy on the Gold Wing could have gone a whole lot faster on the big wide highways, but the Harley and the other Honda were air cooled, so if they went a little bit too fast, they got overheated real quick on those engines. So we kind of held back and let them on the way home, where everybody knew where they were going. We kind of went 4 different ways on the super highway, and the guy on the Gold Wing probably thought, any cop that's trying to pull me over better be able to have a big engine because I'm going to go rapidly fast. And I'm going, I'm in my 20s. I'm not exceeding the speed limit by very much. So I'm going to be gentle with it. So I got left behind. The other three went their separate ways at their own separate speeds. And I got far enough down. Uh, I don't even remember which highway it was. We were coming back down, probably 85. And I noticed a sign that said, "This exit to a town where my dad bought tractors." I go, "Hoop, I'm home." Woo! And all of a sudden, I'm on a 2-lane road that's straight as an arrow for 50 damn miles. The only deviation is vertically, not horizontally. And I had a whole lot of trouble going, "Okay, you can open it up here." I'm going, "No, I live in this county. I am not opening up the motorcycle here." I went to school with the children of these cops, which nowadays translates into I went to school with the parents of these cops. So I know better. That old joke, "Pew, stop or I'll shoot," is not a joke. If you get pulled over by a cop in Georgia, pray it's a black guy, because the white ones will kill you just for fun. Seriously.
It's like that in Houston too.
I've been through Houston once, no, twice. Once going in, once coming out. I went to Denton, so I had to go to Dallas Fort Worth and up that way and around, and I probably got lost a couple of times, but then I had to go from there to Daytona. That was the longest bike trip
It's
I
a long
ever
trip.
made. That was 24 hours without stopping for anything but a sandwich and a tank of gas. I did not even sleep till I actually got to Daytona. And before I finally got to the hotel, I probably should have been pulled over and arrested so I could get a good night's sleep, because I was wobbling pretty good going down the road. I'd catch myself nodding off, and nodding off on a motorcycle is not something you ever want to do.
No,
No, and I survived it. Had, I forget if it was a week or 2 weeks there, and got back on the bike and came back to the vicinity of Athens, Georgia, and parked the bike and didn't ride it more than about 30 minutes a month after that for the rest of my life. Right now, it's rusted up under some kudzu in the backyard. I'm sorry about that, but hey, um, once you take the longest road trip you've ever been on, kind of cures you of wanting to take any more road trips on a bike. Um, there might be tricks to get around it, but I didn't know them at the time. And quite frankly, my wife is going, "No, you're not riding a motorcycle anymore. I want to keep you alive. It's not your driving I'm worried about. It's everybody else on the damn road."
I'm thinking about. I'd like to get another bike. I haven't had a bike in a long time, but I'd like to have one again.
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd like to have one again.
Oh, I would too. I would too. I see them on the sides of the road all the time for sale. Um, she said that she would allow me to buy one of those Can-Am 3-wheelers. I'm going,
They're expensive.
"Honey, the cheapest one they got costs more than a house and 2 acres of land."
They've got some that are like 25 to 35 range, but that's too expensive for a tricycle.
Yeah, really. I mean, they'd have to be. This never has to be repaired. Just change the oil on time, and and have the brakes done
And you're still buying
every 2
bike
years.
tires. You're still buying motorcycle tires, and motorcycle tires are crazy expensive.
They are very expensive. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, we will say goodnight now, and thank you, Paul. Um, Thank you, Joe. Everybody that was in the chat, I've already said your names once. I can't remember everything. I'm getting old, okay? Let me see if I
Say
can
good night,
remember which.
everybody. Good night,
Good night,
Gracie.
everybody. And good night, Mrs. McGillicuddy, wherever you are. Damn, I can't even remember old Red Skelton lines. Jeez, I used to watch it every week. We shall see you anon.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. System will shut down.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.